Hey friends, here's a question for you. Have you ever heard news that was so good you could hardly believe it? Maybe it was when your parents said you were going to be a big brother or sister. Or when you got a new pet kitten. Or when you opened the best birthday present ever. Well, let me tell you about a time when a man named Thomas heard some news that was so great, he couldn't believe it was true.
Say hello, Thomas. Thomas was one of Jesus' close friends. But Thomas sometimes had a hard time believing Jesus was who he said he was. We've been talking about how Jesus died and rose again, so we could be forgiven and be with God forever. The thing is, when Jesus rose from the dead, people didn't know what had happened right away. Some of his friends knew, but not everyone had heard the news yet. After Jesus died, and before they heard the news that Jesus was back, his friends were sad. They had believed that Jesus was going to change the world, but after he died, they weren't so sure anymore. Then suddenly, in the middle of the room, Jesus appeared. Whoa! As you can imagine, everyone was so surprised. They thought Jesus was gone forever. But there he was, right in the middle of them. The disciples were so happy to see him. Fast forward a week, and the disciples were together in the same room. Except this time, Thomas was with them. You remember Thomas, right? Thomas had heard their story about Jesus appearing, but he wasn't sure it was true. After all, if Jesus had died, how could he be there among them? Thomas said that if he was going to believe their story, he'd have to see and touch Jesus for himself. Just as he said this, Jesus appeared just like he did before. He came to Thomas and told him, "Reach out your hand. Stop doubting and believe." When Thomas touched Jesus, he knew it was him. Just like Thomas, sometimes it can be hard to believe that Jesus is real and alive and that he loves us. But here's the great news. Just like Jesus helped Thomas believe in him, Jesus helps you and me believe in him too.